Hey, dear friends, let's go ahead and take a ride and talk crypto news as usual. Thank you so much for joining me. I encourage you to hit that like button. If you enjoy these style of videos, the car videos, or just any of the content, would be a huge help for the channel. Subscribe if you're new and leave a comment. Let me know what I missed or what you think is important that I might have missed if we don't get a chance to talk about it. So let's go ahead and start off by talking about the prices. We have Bitcoin up about 0.8%, Ethereum up 1.5%. They were quite a bit lower today, but they did rebound. There were concerns about the CPI print, the core inflation print coming out tomorrow on Thursday, which a lot of investors are looking at. Although the Fed has said that even if things slow down somewhat with inflation, they're still likely they're going to be way above 2%, their target. So don't expect them to say that they're going to stop hiking interest rates just yet. But anyway, we also so the prices specifically, we have Bitcoin at 19,197, and you have Ethereum at 1,297. So it's dropped below $1,300, although it is up on the day. Like I said, it was lower because of some of this volatility surrounding the print tomorrow. So expect that to just kind of waver, although we haven't really dropped out of any particular price ranges. We are noting that trading volumes for cryptocurrencies have trended below the 20-day moving average. So a sign of, I guess, disinterest really in trading. And usually this kind of tightening does happen before some big moves. Not that I'm really expecting much. For me, it feels like this is just where the market wants to be for now. Although you're still going to hear all sorts of calls about market bloodbaths on the way. I guess that's up to you to figure out. According to Janet Yellen yesterday, there probably wasn't going to be some sort of bloodbath, or didn't seem to be one on the way, or at least anything disorderly, when she said that she didn't see anything disorderly in all markets. But that changed today, not even 24 hours later, where she said that liquidity in the bond market is something that is concerning her. So, I mean, they're all over the place. They'll say whatever they gotta say to sway opinion this way or that way. Just giving you a heads up generally of what's going on. Not too much of a change there. We're talking about interesting news. I just saw Peter Schiff tweet out, the big gold bug. He tweeted out about a new bill that has been introduced in Congress, which is HR 9157, which is hoping to repeg the dollar to the gold standard. Wow, that has actually been introduced. It was introduced by Patrick Mooney, I believe that's his name. And it will, if passed, mean that the government, the Treasury, and the Federal Reserve have to announce all of their gold holdings and all of their gold transactions that have been performed within the last 60 years, and they have 30 months to do that. So I'm not sure that the government wants to talk about their gold holdings. I don't know how far this sort of bill would get, but if it gets passed, it would be quite phenomenal. And it is a hopes to stop inflation from continuing to run away, as obviously it has, and it has not been kept under control since Nixon took us off the gold standard in 1971. Some of his promises just haven't stayed true. Of course, the Bitcoin people and the crypto people are saying, well, it might be much better for Bitcoin to be the cryptocurrency that is that things are pegged to. But I guess that's neither here nor there. I would imagine it'd be more palatable in these kind of early days still for cryptocurrencies, where you have something like gold that has tried and true history, something like that being the peg. But yeah, we'll see where that goes. We had an announcement, I believe it was yesterday, that Crypto.com had laid off 2,000 employees, something like 40% of its staff, as you still have these sorts of routes that are causing market layoffs. You have today Coin Center. So Coin Center is suing Janet Yellen and Andrea Gacki, the head of OFAC, the Office for Foreign Assets Control, for sanctioning Tornado Cash, which is an application that has been used for people to obfuscate their transaction history. It was done because apparently North Korean hackers were using it. And this was done on August 8th. But it has led to all sorts of scenarios where people have their funds stuck inside of Tornado Cash. And you have a scenario where some of the people suing. So you have Coin Center suing the Treasury, which is pretty ballsy, right? Janet Yellen herself, the head of it, who used to be the head of the Federal Reserve. Then you have Patrick O'Sullivan. You have David Hoffman, a crypto investor out of New York who is one of the co-hosts of the Bankless podcast, which was heavily focused on Ethereum, although I believe they're branching out recently. And you have a John Doe, who is someone who is a human advocate, supporter, who had donated funds to Ukraine and says that by not being able to use something like Tornado Cash, since no one can use this platform and the smart contracts anymore in order to mix their coins or whatever, or really, you know, whatever terminology you want to use to obfuscate your transaction history, you would have less funds willing to be committed to help pro-human causes or causes like toward Ukraine specifically, because people would be more scared for their lives, granted, just like this John Doe, who we don't exactly know who it is. That's just a name that they've had on the complaint here. So you can see how it could be a problem, of course, as we've talked about many times, when it comes to if you have publicly something posted on the blockchain, some sort of transaction that's completely transparent, people can kind of figure out what your wealth is, tie two and two together. You have different companies that are able to do this now, that do this kind of forensics into blockchain to kind of tell you exactly how much crypto you have, and this kind of data being leaked and everything else is obviously problematic because it paints a target on folks' backs. So you can see why using something like a mixture could be advantageous for you, even if you're not trying to do something illegal, or money launder, terrorist financing, or whatever. Also, you have like David Hoffman, who is really upset because he was dusted. So after Tornado Cash was sanctioned, there were those who thought, well, if we go ahead and dust everyone across the board with some funds that have touched Tornado Cash, so we give them small little bits of crypto, of Ethereum, whatever, that have touched Tornado Cash directly into their wallets, then they're in trouble with the Treasury because they have crypto that's interacted with that, which is sanctioned. And this is a way where basically they can't come after all of us, right? Was kind of the goal here. But it's led to a situation where the Treasury or the OFAC is now requiring for individuals like David Hoffman to file yearly reports, as he said, which are very burdensome, just to say, hey, I'm not a criminal. Like, I'm not doing anything criminal with Tornado Cash, and this has to be done for perpetuity, just because of the requirements that have been listed. So you can see how this would be a real problem. And so they're willing to take this, Coin Center, David Hoffman, Patrick O'Sullivan, and John Doe, all the way up to the Supreme Court, the highest court here in the United States, as they fully expect to win this and get Tornado Cash back to a normal status for citizens to be using. So really courageous. I really commend them for that one. And I would say that's really the biggest news of the day that you needed to be hearing about. And I would say supporting. It's really cool to see folks being brave more and more. Coin Center has had even another lawsuit against the Treasury. And they're not willing to let up as they continue to lobby for crypto and for the rest of us. Anyway, I don't have a terrible amount to talk about. I didn't want to do a video yesterday just because one of the only things I was there to chat about was related to some situation with a certain CEO and a horse. Didn't want to get into that stuff, so I didn't. But I didn't share that, so that's why I was kind of reporting on some of what came out yesterday, like with Crypto.com. But also, I wanted to give you a mention if you are someone who has funds that were locked on Celsius. I tweeted out a link. I retweeted someone's link to a form that you can put your email address into, and it will send you claims information. You can review that, and basically it'll show you what you're going to be due through the claims process and bankruptcy with Celsius. Just review that, fill that out for yourself, and if everything checks out, you won't have to fill out any sort of form. If everything looks good there, everything that will eventually be due to you once it's passed by the courts will be due to you appropriately. But you might want to take care of that, so at least you know whether you have to fill out a claims form in the future or not, which hasn't been approved. Apparently the old claims form is being revised pending a deadline for when people have to submit these forms and yada yada. But anyway, just take care and check that for yourself if you are going to be a claimant. So take care, everyone. Much love and stay cryptic. Peace.